deliver the keynote address. After that, we will have our good Ms. Sandeep Singh, fellow colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, participants, Bulovinaka to you, Janavinaka. As PS Wycliffe mentioned, yesterday was Waterways and Agriculture. Now it is Environment and Agriculture and Fisheries. After this, it will be Agriculture, and tomorrow is Agriculture in the Western Division. So this week is basically focused on the Western Division. Ladies and gentlemen, as PS Wycliffe mentioned, it is about our commitment to reduce emissions as we have made via signing of various agreements. This workshop, the good servicing practice workshop, is an initiative by our government in collaboration with UN Environment through the HCFC Phase Out Management Plan, whereby it promotes the smart use and phase out of ozone depleting substances, particularly HCFC, hydrofluorocarbons, and promotes the use of non-odorous refrigerants with low or zero global warming potentials. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably recall we have been undertaking a number of workshops with different industry groups, different segments of this particular industry, to train them on how they could phase out the use of these refrigerants which are not not compliant at the moment with regard to the gases that they use, and replacing with the compliant refrigerants. We had workshops, we had training workshops with the fisheries sector in the vessel owners in Suva. We had workshops with the technicians in the Western Division on how they can bleed out and change the gases, and we continue to do that. We also last year provided an incentive package to the industry on how they can apply the incentive package to assist them in phasing out these refrigerants which are using these gases which are basically we need to phase out, which is detrimental to the ozone layer, which screens out the ultraviolet rays. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a small country. In the global scale, we may not matter, but when you add up the Pacific Island small states, the Caribbean small states, the small states of African region, we matter. That is why when we are dealing with public goods, which has an impact on the environment, then all of us need to partner. Small states, large states, developed countries, all of us, because when the pollution is contributed by the global community, then one or two, cannot, pull out or cannot take, say that we are taking a kind of dominant position. It's a global issue, and we need to all get together and deal with this particular matter. The HPMP project comprises of a combination of interventions such as technical assistance for adoption of HCFC as alluded to, HCFC-free alternatives, and minimizing HCFC consumption in servicing of refrigeration and air conditioning equipment through RR and replacement program, which began last year. Secondly, training for service technicians and customs and enforcement officers, awareness, communications, management and coordination and monitoring in various HCFC consuming applications. As you can see, we're dealing with service technicians, customs officers who deal with compliance at our borders. We're dealing with enforcement officers on the ground. We're dealing with an awareness led by the ministry through education system, through various other groups, including NGOs, to educate people on the importance of phasing out these gases which are harmful to the ozone layer and why it is important that we need to protect the ozone layer, even though we are just a small country. Deals with communication and management. So it's a whole package of program that we need to coordinate, and if we want to effectively deal with this particular matter of phasing out the ozone depleting gases. Technical training has over time been realized as an important tool for sound environmental management amongst the industrial sectors in Fiji. Now, sometimes when we do this kind of training, after the training, after a few weeks, then it is business as usual. But again, as an individual, as an important person in the industry, we must understand that we have an obligation to not only the current generation but future generations in terms of protecting their livelihood, their quality of life. And depletion of ozone layer, all of you know how harmful UV rays are, and therefore it can have a devastating impact on the quality of life of future generations. It might not immediately affect the current generation or the next generation, but over time, if we don't take control and stop these harmful gases affecting the UV rays, it can then again really cause problem to future generations. Good servicing practice workshop for the marine fisheries refrigeration simply converts the ideology of environmental protection into practical reality, which must be implemented to preserve and safeguard the ozone layer in the natural environment. As Ministry of Environment, we all are undertaking various activities towards one, protecting our environment, number two, building resilience amongst our natural resource, and number three, rehabilitating what we have lost. Number of projects are undertaken by Ministry of Environment, and we want you all to become ambassadors of the environment, a champion of environmental protection and environmental conservation as well. The quality of life, always link the notion of environment and natural resources to quality of life. When you are talking, when you are campaigning, when you are having a discourse at different forums, whether it's a grog session, whether it's after your church service or temple, etc., you must come back to the issue or notion of quality of life and link it to the natural environment around you. And if you are able to do that, you really are making a difference in terms of getting people to appreciate what we have and appreciate what the obligation is to the future generation. As you have made aware, the fishing sector consumes the largest amount of HCFC in Fiji. The vessels are in the sea for a prolonged period of time, and they need to keep their cooling equipments on, and that consumes a lot of HCFC. Therefore, it is very important that this sector will continue to grow, given Fiji's strategic advantage in the primary sectors, be it agriculture, forestry, fisheries. The sector will continue to grow, but the business as usual cannot continue. And therefore, you are a very important component of the players in the whole program of phasing out the CFCs. In this lies the intent to build your capacity. This is about the gathering today. Is about building your capacity. Of course, it's not about convincing you. It's about convincing you to convince others. You are convinced. You know. You've been in the industry. It's to motivate you to do more. Do more to ensure that everyone is together, and we have a national movement towards protecting the ozone layer. So it is our hope that this training will improve your understanding and get you to go the extra mile in terms of ensuring that we all in the industry, at least in the industry, we are able to control and switch over towards using appliances which is compliant. So congratulations again in being part of the first good servicing practice workshop for 2021, and I encourage you all to continue working together with our ministry in the efforts to minimize and phase out controlled substances and promoting the use of ozone-friendly gases in the refrigeration and air conditioning industry. Thank you. Naka.